So I'm actually shooting on a different app. What's going on, guys? My name is Jed Day Ray. Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, thanks. Alright, if you're not new here, you might notice this background from the Sony a7 III v a7S III video. And if you don't notice it, maybe it's because of look at how damn smooth that background is. I'm currently shooting on my brand new 24mm G-Mask lens at 1.4. A mid-wide at 1.4 should not have this much depth of field. That is unbelievable. And also check out this focus. We're locked onto my eye. At 1.4, still at 1.4, still at 1.4. That's a pretty damn good results. Anyway, the reason we're here on a cold summer's night is to test out this guy. This is the OPPO Reno 4 5G. OPPO did send this to me. It's not sponsored. They don't know I'm making a video. They sent it to me to take some photos and see how good the camera is. They do tell me it has a very good low light capabilities. Now this is a mid-tier phone. It's about $700 Australian. So it's going to be very interesting to see how a budget entry mid-tier phone can perform against be it a mirrorless camera or a higher end phone. So let's go have a bit of fun, take some good photos. So how cool is these things here? These are called the Barbecue Boys, spelled B-U-O-Y-S. Like a buoy, they are a floating barbecue that you can float around on the river torrents and cook a barbecue while you're out there. Barbecue Boys, marketing genius 101. I love it. So I'm actually shooting on a different app, not the one that comes with the camera. I paid $3.75 for, it's called Camera FV-5. There is a light version which is free. I did want to pay the extra money because I did want to get the most possible out of this phone camera. And this app actually allows me to shoot RAW and have full control over my exposure. Now I just want to say I don't ever believe that phone cameras will overtake proper cameras. There's just too much that's available in an actual camera, such as your lenses, the glass quality, the IBIS, the sensor, the size of the sensor, the light gathering capabilities, etc. However, I do think that where phones are really quite amazing is their computational photography aspect. If you can have that technology inside a real camera, that's gonna be some pretty glory days. I took just one photo handheld of Rosie when she came over to my house and it was dark outside. I live in the middle of the city, lots of light pollution. You can see the stars above her. Look, don't get me wrong, it was a bad photo, but the fact that you can see the night sky from a handheld phone is pretty impressive if we're gonna be completely honest about it. Even some micro four thirds cameras struggle with low light photos, so hey, well done. I'm gonna take a few more photos while we're down here by the river. I might go a little bit closer to the river and see if I can get some funky reflections and whatnot, but it's actually amazing what you can do with this. I love having this app for the ability to shoot RAW, so when I go back and edit this, it's got a lot more push and pull, a lot more ability to make the most of it. A fun fact about this camera, you have the ability to put it into 48 megapixel mode, which we're talking a phone. The fact that you can do that is pretty damn impressive. Ooh, that's not too bad. Also, sorry that the content's kind of slowed up a little bit. I have actually had to return my MacBook. So I'm editing on a super duper old 2015 baseline MacBook. I'm waiting for my new computer. I'm very sorry. There will be more content very, very soon. Don't you worry. No tripod handheld. Huh, that turned out all right. You will not be able to see that at all. But no tripod handheld, it's not the worst. Well, I say pretty good because I'm viewing it on a screen. Let me be the judge when I get it back onto the computer. Now the phone's got a few different lenses. We've got an ultra wide, I reckon it's probably about a 15mm. We've got a 1x zoom, which is the one we're able to do 48 megapixels with. We've got a 2x and we've got a 5x. Now, there's actually a spot just up there that I've taken some photos before with my actual cameras. And I think it'd be a pretty cool chance to replicate those shots. There's a bridge that overlooks the university. It's a pretty cool place where you got the streets going multiple ways. The trams have the opportunity to come down and get a nice long exposure, get those tail lights dragging, and I think that's what we're gonna go and do. So onwards then. Always got to come back and pick the camera up because that would be an expensive journey. So basically all I'm doing is taking lots of shorter exposures, about 2.5 seconds, and I'm going to merge them in post and blend them, and hopefully I get a nice lot of light trails from the cars, the trams, the buses and all that. And also, what I've noticed on this 24mm lens, nice little bit of diffusion on the light there. No, I'm not using one of the Moment or Polar Pro variable NDs or mist diffusion filters. It's just the 24mm G Master. I've noticed it has this really cool effect on the lights, and if you want to know how to do that for your photos and really up the quality of them, just make them pop a little bit more, link up here. I made a video on that, so you should definitely go check that out. And also, if you're new here, go hit that subscribe button. I would very much appreciate that. At the moment, while I'm filming this, I'm on about 970 something subscribers, so I'd really love to get that 1,000, especially before Christmas. Anyway, back to the photos. So what I'm actually doing right now is I'm shooting on interval, so intervalometer. I'm shooting lots of 1.6 second exposures because that's kind of what it looks best at. I'm going to stack them together in post later when we get home. All right, so I'm gonna head back to the car now. I've got the shots I want for the night, and I'm depending on how my battery goes, because it's almost dead, I might wrap this up a different night, but I'm gonna go keep shooting some more photos, so check you in a bit. And if my batteries do die on my camera, well, I'll edit the photos up when I get home. I'll give you a little bit of a conclusion, a little bit of a concluding thoughts, if you will, when I get home. Anyway, if you're thinking about what music you should listen to, I listened to our Lil Dicky Professional Rapper on the way out here. That's always a personal favorite. Fun fact, I met him once. He seemed like a really nice guy. Now, the one thing I have noticed is obviously the 5x zoom is not as good quality, and the 1x or the standard is the best quality zoom, or the best quality lens, sorry, on the camera. Now, I do wish that the wide angle would be the same quality as the standard, because I just think on a phone, wide angle is by far my favorite field of view. So that's a little bit of a pity. However, I gotta remember, it's a bloody $600-700 phone. So in that case, it's doing pretty damn well for itself. But let's go to another location and get a few more good shots, and then maybe do this again another night. Barbecue boys, bye. Alright, this is going to be my last place before I go home. I think there's some pretty cool architecture, some pretty cool lights, and hopefully we can come out with some pretty cool phone night photos. I will say this, I think you'd really struggle at night without a tripod, so I'm glad I brought it along with me. I might take a few handheld just to see how they come out, but I mean, it's like all things, if you want to maximize the amount of light coming in, especially on a small sense like this, having stabilization is always going to help, because if you're hand holding it, your shutter speed needs to be a lot quicker, which means a camera like this, you're not going to have the sensor size or the aperture most likely to let all that light in, so you can naturally get a nice exposure, not have to have the ISO stupidly high. So always make sure, have a little pocket tripod, like a Gorilla Pod or something like that, something with a phone clamp, a bean bag, whatever it might be, whatever your hack is, do that, and that will give you the best night photos on your phone. Now that security guard was super nice. It always pays that if you ever get pulled up by the security or doing something you know in an area they might not want you in, just be nice, and they'll be nice back, and they might even let you keep shooting. I, out of respect, was like, you know what, I'm gonna go home because I'm pretty tired. Nice guy, nice guy. Got a brand new iPhone, pretty happy about it. Quick little disclaimer before we get going. Yes, OPPO did send me this phone, however there is no monetary exchange, there's no expectance to make this video. I can say what I want. So, are the photos any good? Well, you know what? For a $600 to $700 phone, they're actually pretty surprising. You can come out with some good photos, especially when you're using that third-party app to get the raw photos. However, I will say all of the best photos I took were all on a tripod. I got one or two that were right handheld, but I wouldn't recommend it in low light situations. But I'd still probably try out the tripod. But if we're being realistic, this is a $600 to $700 phone. So yeah, the photos are actually pretty impressive because when you think about it, an iPhone 12 Pro Max is almost $2,000 in Australia for the entry level one. You could kit the whole family out if you've got a family of 3 instead of getting one iPhone 12 Pro Max. I have noticed that during the day, the images come out with a bit of a weird HDR kind of vibe, skin tones are a little bit off. And I do think, however, the average punter probably wouldn't notice. However, if you're into this channel, you're probably into camera gear, I feel like we will notice. Because, I mean, I did notice. Now, I would be very interested to try a flagship phone to see how this entry-level, mid-tier sort of range phone goes against a higher-end flagship. I've been using this phone for about 5 weeks as my daily phone. I've always been an iPhone user, so getting used to Android has taken a bit of time. I've always used Apple computers, watch, phone, all that sort of stuff. I did not realize just how much I use and really rely on AirDrop, especially when you're in the creative photo or video game. You're always using AirDrop. So if you guys have any sort of suggestion of ways I can get files from here to my Mac or my Mac to here quickly, like AirDrop, let me know in the comments below because I would love you so much. Other than that and the learning curve of using Android, for $700 you're getting a pretty decent kit. And is it perfect? Of course it's not. However, what is perfect these days? You've got to really weigh up, is a phone worth $2 grand? Is a phone worth $700? Everyone's different, everyone has different needs. And on that note, we are done with this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, please consider like, comment, subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!